Alrighty. Hey Bear, hey Chidarin. Sorry for reacting just now, things froze a little bit here. Twitch is dismiss that. Okay, there we go. There it is. Am I a bit laggy? Am I? I hope not. Alright. Let's try it out. Let's go. So. Okay, Steam is doing things here in the background. Okay, don't do that. So, to be completely honest, I had no idea who Miss Ishizuka was when Rika-san first brought up her name. That's because while she has been at the academy a long time, my impression of her doesn't exactly gel with Rika-san's description of someone well liked by the student body. As I listened to Rika-san talk about Miss Ishizuka, it finally hit me that she was the supervisor for the art club. She was also the teacher I had been at odds with when I tried to get into the art room to see Mayuri's paintings. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. However, when I went along with Rika-san to speak with her the following day, hey Mot-chan, how are you? I was greeted with a very different attitude. I realize now that while she's a stickler for the rules, she does genuinely care about her students. After exchanging pleasantries and small talk, the conversation progressed even better than I'd hoped for. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's winter, the sun sets, like, at lunch. Our success was all thanks to my immediate partner and the good relationship she's cultivated with Miss Ishizuka. Ah, so they bonded over the tea. I tell her that's not the case. She plainly thinks I'm just saying it to be nice. But the truth is, I did glean some useful information. Miss Midori Karasumori, the teacher with the unusual name, who taught specimen preparation, left the academy at around the same time as the students. Okay. Okay, that's an interesting angle, I guess. She peers down at the photo we borrowed from Miss Ishizuka. It shows Miss Karasumori working in the specimen room. The camera is zoomed in on her. She's wearing an apron and working on a wet specimen. Her expression serious as she focuses intently on her work. This reminds me of my grandfather's stories about a junior he took under his wing back when he was working as a doctor. Gazing at the photograph, I came to understand the meaning behind those words that had stood out to me.
学院にとって損失だったという言葉は烏森教諭に向けられたものだったのね。
I dropped my gaze back down to the photo.
これって
Pulling out the other photo, I compared the two. I thought so. Seeing the overlap sets something off inside me. An alarm bell alerting me to the fact that I'm missing something important.
ありがとう、リッカさん。え？もうお礼は言われたわよ。
Hey Kevin, how are you? Thank you so much for the sub. How are you? How are you?
私だけでは到達できなかった。
The pieces of the puzzle I've collected so far are beginning to come and slot together.
12人の怒れる男のヘンリー・フォンダと同じことをしようとしていたみたいね。
I murmured to myself as I gazed at the snowflakes fluttering in the sky outside the window, as though somewhere out there I might find Yatsushiro-senpai who once solved this mystery herself. Yeah, okay. For me things are alright. It's a little bit... I don't have a word, just with work, but that's alright. It's work, right? Other than that, things are chill. Things are chill. I hope it's the same in terms of chillness for you as well. The snow has stopped falling, but a chill wind remains, gusting through the bare branches of the trees and shaking flurries of flakes from them. I watch the tiny specks of powder fluttering in the wind. As I watch, internally I sort through the pieces of the puzzle. I examine all the pieces I've gathered thanks to Rika-san. I think I have pretty much all the information I need to make a deduction. Usually at this point I'd just need to propose and refine my hypothesis, but...
何かが足りない気がする。
Right now it's like I have all the pieces of the pot, but nothing to stew in it. For a moment I thought I was reading it wrong, but no. All the pieces of the pot, but nothing to stew in it.
八代先輩なら仏作って魂入れずというところだわ。
A sucker for period dramas, she would sometimes come out with old-fashioned turns of phrase. Thinking of the older girl reminds me of my grandfather. Perhaps because they both use dated vocabulary? No, it's because both of them gave the impression that they were playing the part of themselves. Feeling a hand on my shoulder, I look up barely into my Amitia partner's face.
白羽会長。
Her touch draws me out of my thoughts and back to the present.
二階屋の会の定例会議。
Oh god, Suo, start paying attention, girl. You worked so hard to get there. Like, don't be an airhead.
大丈夫？
Unlike before, Rika-san's expression is clouded because she knows exactly what I'm wrestling with. Oh, yeah, long time no speak. Hey, Patch, thank you for the BTs. Thank you.
話を続けても構いませんか？
Tsubabuki-san asks me in a hard tone, probably annoyed at my having interrupted her supplementary budget proposal, and I nod.
ごめんなさい。続けてください。
She sends me a pointed look, then carries on reading out the literature club's budget details in the same steely voice. After the meeting,
スオさん。
I shoot off, planning to head to the library so I can do some thinking about my deduction, when a voice stops me in my tracks. Rika-san hurries over to me and addresses me in a low voice.
会議の時、何か思い悩んでいるように見えたけど、あの事件のこと。
Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Everyone's been so sweet and kind and warm about that, so that makes me very happy. Thank you.
ごめんなさい。 責めているわけではないの。今からまた捜査をするなら。大丈夫。もう十分情報は集めたわ。考えをまとめようと思っていたところなの。それじゃ私も。少ししたら寮へ戻るわ。
A gust of strong wind rattles the window, and I turn my gaze outside. I'm captivated by the way the scattered snowfall is swept up in flurries only to float back down again. Oh, that's so nice! Oh, so sweet, Kevin. Enjoy. That must be a magical moment waiting up ahead for you. That's so cute. Hearing the sound of the door to Iznik opening, I turn around. Her tone stiff, Tsuwabuki-san gives me a piercing look, or rather, an outright glare. Yikes! We're getting reprimanded.
どうした？物憂げな美少女は絵になるが、思い詰めすぎた顔つきだと千鳥の好きな怪談物になる。エリカさん。
She's heading my way together with Ringo-san, who is becoming a common fixture at the handles of her wheelchair.
つわぶきさんの言うように、リッカさんをいいように使っていたのかしら。おや、本当に何か物憂げを通り越して悩んでいるようですね。まさか、まだ血まみれメアリー事件を調べてるのか。
I am, but that's not what I'm thinking about.
私、リッカさんを利用しているように見えるのかしら。は？おい、誰にそんなくだらないことを言われた？
くだらないこと。Erika-san quickly drops her voice and I raise my head to look at her.
陰口を叩くやつの名前を言え。私が話をつけてきてやる。
Aww, Erika is in lioness mode, protecting her cub. Seeing the anger in her face, I hurriedly tell her she's got the wrong end of the stick.
何が違うって言うんだ。そうですよ、スオちゃん。抱え込まないで私たちに話してほしいですよ。そうじゃないの。二階屋の会の会議で失敗をしてしまって、リッカさんに迷惑をかけて。二階屋の会のやつらか。会議が終わった後にリッカさんが心配してくれて、それで気遣ってくれていたのだけど、つわぶきさんが。
For some reason, the two of them send one another an inscrutable look. They probably know. They know.
なるほど。つわぶきさんからあまりりっちゃんさんを無下に扱うなと言われたわけですね。ええ、すごいわ。その通りよ。ああ、意地悪ではあるが、こいつは。なんというか、一概に叩けない案件になりましたね。
They've both adopted rather conspiratorial looks. What on earth are they thinking?
悪いお顔になっているけれど、つわぶきさんに何もしちゃダメよ。初めて話を聞いたときは、勘違いしてるんじゃねえぞと一言釘を刺してやる気だったけどな。つわぶきさんの気持ちを考えたら、致し方なしなのですよ。
Yeah, it's kind of plain as day from the way she behaves and the way she speaks about Erika.
つわぶきさんの気持ち?
Erika-san lets out a long sigh, then beckons me closer. When I stoop down, she flicks me right in the forehead. こういう話が疎い私でもわかることだぞ。露骨だろうが。
ですね、つわぶきさんはりっちゃんさんが好きなんですよ。
I turn to Ringo-san, whose face is beet red, and tell her that I know.
え？アミティエ同士で気まずくなっているつわぶきさんを気遣って、二階屋の会に誘ったのはリッカさんだもの。 好意を抱いていないわけがないわ。で、あのな、お前が言っているのはライクの方だろ。私たちが言っているのはラブの方なんだよ。
Yeah, so I saw. We've come a long way in a lot of senses, but in some of them we're still at the beginning of the road. Hearing this, the realization hits me. Still, though, I need a moment before it turns into true comprehension. Forgetting that we're in the library, I accidentally let out a loud cry.
驚くことに驚きですよ。だって、あのな、お前を除くクラスの大半は周知の事実ってやつだぞ。
Erika-san is looking at me as though I've just asked her if she knows the rules of baseball. Still, their revelation has got me thinking.
確かに、今までの振る舞いや言動を考えてみたら。だろ。そうだったの。
Putting myself in Tsuwabuki-san's shoes, I now understand exactly why she's angry. She thinks I've been using Rika-san, and it makes sense that she would see it like that.
まあ、なんだ。一言言えるのは、お前が悪いわけじゃない。誰も悪いわけじゃないんだよ。間が悪かったのはあるかもしれないですけれどね。
Erika-san slaps Ringo-san lightly on the butt, telling her that sarcasm is her thing. At the same time, I feel as though a heavy yet inexplicable weight has settled over my shoulders. The wind has ceased and the light of the setting sun paints the trees and the snow crimson. However, a shadow lurks in the glass of the window. Thoughts of what I learned back in the library keep racing through my mind. Rika-san has a heart of gold. People who have been hurt before find a balm in her kind and caring personality. I understand why Tsuwabuki-san would fall for her. In fact, there are probably plenty of students who idolize her, and it's not unusual for such feelings to blossom into something more. I can't continue that sentence. I feel like if I speak the words out loud, something precious will spill out of me with them. My heart heavy and anguished, I stare into the window. The shadow deepens, forming into a distinct silhouette. Of course, here it comes, the nausea. This is creepy. What? I know that my stepmother will appear to me whenever I'm feeling empty and weak. Oh, Florimona, hi! Hi! So happy to see you around the stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The illusion agrees with me, and I have no comeback. My stepmother cackles hideously. Oh. Am I the only one who, this feels incredibly creepy, like the dialogue bubbles with like the black staticky thingy and the echoey voice and the slightly distorted background. It's wow. Okay. She taunts me. Hearing my own fears repeated in my ears, I can't deny them. I simply glare at her figure in the glass.
ねえ。そんなに取られるのが惜しいのなら、今のアミティを選べばいい。
何を。
マユリという女はお前を選ばなかった。いいえ、選んだけれど、お前よりも大切なものができたのよ。
やめて。
美術室ではっきりと聞いたでしょ。お前は捨てられた。
やめて。
No, okay, wow. I hope that my yellow will banish the vision, that if it's something my fragile mind has conjured up, I can simply drown it out with anger. But nothing has changed. You'll always be alone. Even when I cover my ears, I can still hear her hideous voice. My stepmother laughs just like she always did when I hit the wrong keys.
こんなに話せるなんて、あの老いぼれに預けられる前を思い出す。愉快だわ。とても気分がいいから、一つお前に教えてあげる。人が罪を犯す理由は、金か、愛か、動機を隠そうとするためかのどれかよ。
It's the first time she's said anything for any purpose other than to jeer at me. I stare at the glass in disbelief.
母は私の影。
The nausea surging up in me is raw and tangible, just like back then. But
母が言っているのではない。私の心が言わせている。
which means that question is... Screwing my eyes shut, I suppress the nauseous feeling. Something fun. Yes, please, give me something fun. During my last internship, I discovered a new function, a certain protein in the hippocampus that is required for creating episodic memories. Ooh. My assistant internship partner did research on the difference in engram connectivity due to the protein. One step closer to the time loop machine. There we go. Nice. Nice. Smarty pants, Kevin. Good job. In the darkness, I feel the presence of my stepmother beside me. I let out a long breath, then take in a deep lungful of crisp, pure winter air. My stepmother has vanished from the window, because one of the things that has been plaguing me has also disappeared.
人が罪を犯す理由は金か愛か動機を隠そうとするためかのどれか。
My stepmother, or rather the words that I'd stowed away deep inside myself, they've given me the missing piece of the puzzle, the solution to the case that Yatsushiro-senpai once solved. Now I got recruited by a German institution to look at live neuron function in the visual cortex for a next internship, so I get to move abroad. No CERN though. Oh, that's awesome! That sounds like a great opportunity. I hope you enjoy your experience. That's great. Will you be there just for the internship, or are you gonna stay longer? What's the plan? Or yeah, it's an internship. Yeah, I didn't misunderstand it. Yeah. Faintly, I hear a mocking voice. Are you going to keep it to yourself like you always do? But this time it serves as encouragement. I'll be rousing old ghosts, but right now my stepmother's ridicule has become my impetus. Wiping my sweaty brow, I set off to get my final statement. So cryptic. I'm stood in the dark, quiet textiles room. The emotions swirling within me make my chest feel tight. When surrounded by silence, my thoughts default to my stepmother. She was shockingly reticent. I don't recall ever hearing her talk much in daily life. The only time she became free with her words was when she was teaching piano, sneering at me or talking with my father. Just as thinking of Yatsushiro-senpai reminds me of my grandfather, so too does thinking of my stepmother make me recall my father. Probably just internship. Afterwards, I might finally be able to get my girlfriend to move to the Netherlands, so I'd rather stay there. Ah, oh, nice! Congrats. That sounds like a good vision for the future. If they got a good PhD offer, who knows? Yeah, I mean, keep your options open. Be flexible, but yeah, still have like a direction, more or less. That's great. It sounds like things are falling into place for you. I'm so happy to hear that. The exact opposite of her, he loved to talk, to the point that he seemed to be ill at ease with silence. When he came home from work, he would regale my stepmother with anecdotes from the day, tidbits from conversations with friends, and chatter about his hobbies. My stepmother always seemed happy to listen. However, one day, the day I found myself unable to touch the keys and made a complete fool of myself at a piano contest, I came clean to my father for the first time about my relationship with her. I told him everything. And then... Wow, that is a strong father. If his reaction was motivated by this truth coming out, that she was treating his daughter this way, to choose his daughter and like just cut ties, that's a power move. Wow, okay. Within a month of my confession, they were getting a divorce, and I was being sent to live with my grandfather. Those who knew my father well said that he chose to separate from her in order to keep me safe. Suo's biological family is pretty cool. Yeah. Her grandfather sounds really cool as well. Her friends must have seen him as a devoted father, protecting his child from a wicked stepmother. Oh no, don't tell me there's something rotten under the surface, please. But I... Ah, okay, so you are kind of doubting it. Yeah, but maybe he loved you and cared about you more. And maybe this was also the trigger for him to see a side of her he had never realized. And to wonder, who is this woman? Is she really the one that I fell in love with and married? Or was I in love with an illusion I created in my head? That question had latched itself onto my brain and has remained there ever since. He divorced her because he loved me. But does that mean he hadn't loved her? Well, life is not really a zero-sum game like that. Like, things don't conveniently... they're not conveniently black or white. They come in all kinds of shades of grey, and these two don't necessarily cancel each other out. It's just that he had to make a choice, and he chose you. Was it that easy for him to make the trade, to cut one of us off to keep the other? Perhaps because of what had happened with Rika-san, I was thinking of her and Mairi. Shaking my head, I decide to go over the Bloody Mary incident in my head as I wait for her to arrive. I wonder why in the translation they switched to love and money. Because in Japanese she says money first. Oh well. The first order of business, the motive behind the incident. I had to discern a clear, simple motive. Something like, she eliminated her sisters to claim the inheritance. Why was Nerine Komikado framed for the Bloody Mary incident? And why her specifically? What was the motive for framing Nerine Komikado? Ugh. She got on the wrong side of her classmates. An emotional entanglement, money troubles. I don't think money troubles fits here. I don't know about the wrong side of her classmates, but probably something emotional. It seems to be the theme of every conflict in this story, so maybe? Maybe? Where was I? Yeah, that's the one. Oh, we need to make a save after this. Okay. And what led me to this reason? Okay, let's make that save. What led me to this reason? I have to clear my head now before I lay it out to her. What evidence led me to the motive? I have no idea. I am completely in the dark. The faked handwriting Yatsushiro-senpai identified. The third-year students who quit. The photos from Miss Ishizuka and Hokama-senpai. But how would Nerine be entangled in the photos? Because there's like... she's not involved in anything there, right? Ah, okay, let me know if that's the case. The faked handwriting, the third-year students who quit, the photos from Miss Shizuka and Hokama. I have no idea. It's the photos. I don't see the connection to Nerine, but okay. The photo. I compared the two photos I borrowed. There are two things I've noticed they both have in common. Ah, the knot. The knot. Okay, I see it now. Now that... okay, so she is probably this girl, but like still, how is that connected to... or not... is it... no, wait. Okay, but yeah, it's this. Yes, and there's one more thing. Yeah, so the bow on the apron is vertical. Fine, that's okay. What's the... one more thing? What's the one more thing? Oh, the scrunchie. Yes, that's the other point. Okay. Am I done? I guess yes? Wow, this is interesting. We never had to do that before. Am I doing it right? Let me double check. Click on the bow on the apron, click on the scrunchie. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay, this should do it. This is like quite interactive, interesting. I'm satisfied with the hypothesis I've put together in my head. There are no flaws in my reasoning. Still, the incident in question happened a year ago. There's no solid evidence I can show for it. So now I have to. You'll never change. You'll just continue to repeat the same pattern over and over again. Hearing my stepmother's voice, I brush my hands over my ears, as though this action will dispel the accompanying nausea.
Shirahane-san?
Oh! Sister Basket? Which is why at first I don't realize that someone is calling my name. When she repeats it, I slowly turn to face the woman I asked to meet me. She stands in the dimness of the textiles room, Sister Basket.
大丈夫ですか、白羽さん？ええ。お呼び立てして申し訳ありません。バスキア教諭。構いません。こんな時間にこのような場所へ来てほしいと頼むのなら、よほどのことなのでしょう。
She smiles affably at me. I know that what I'm about to bring up is something she won't want to talk about. But I have to do this.
はい。バスキア教諭に尋ねたいことがあります。それは私たちが入学する前にあった血まみれメアリー事件のことです。
After their encounter in the chapel last episode, I would have been terrified as so. Yeah, I don't understand why it was necessary to call her out in the middle of the night in the textiles room. Like, we could have like made the setting a little bit more mellow and less dramatic, but I guess that's so for you. I cut straight to the chase. Since I have no definitive proof, my only option is to push her into talking. Sister Basket looks taken aback.
それは
Her voice is a whisper.
一昨年の年末に起きたとされる事件です。3年生が一時に血まみれメアリーの儀式を行い、そして辞めていった。
学院から離れたのは個々人それぞれに理由があったからです。儀式などというもののせいではありません。
From her firm denial, in a tone very different to usual, I sense that she's hiding something.
ですが、そういった噂が流れたのは事実です。
口差がない噂話ですよ。
しかし、コミカド先輩を誹謗中傷する噂もほぼ同時期にまかれた。
I have to laugh at myself. I sound like a true detective. Sister Basket looks like she's about to say something, but then thinks better of it, so I continue.
その様子ではご存知だったようですね。3年生が血まみれメアリーの儀式を行ったのは
嘘だとみんなも理解していたのでしょう。悪い噂はすぐ断ち消えました。
違います。当時の八代先輩が汚名を注いだのです。もちろんコミカド先輩は儀式を無理強いなんてさせていない。彼女は陥れられた。
Sister Basket doesn't ask me by whom. She already knows.
3年生が儀式を行ったのは事実です。恐ろしい思いをしたのも、コミカド先輩を陥れた者はそれに乗る形で噂を流した。
一時期二階屋の会に立候補したせいで対立候補から流されたものではという話も耳にしましたが。
I tell her that's not possible. I explain that it was Kusabe-senpai who was running against her at the time, and that from what I know of her personality and how she became secretary afterwards, it's clear that she harbored no ill feelings toward Komikado-senpai.
では、
コミカド先輩を陥れたのは、かつて標本学を教えていた烏森みどり教諭です。
Why would she do that? Sister Dahlia falls silent when I voice the name of the culprit, but it's an eloquent silence that speaks volumes. In that silence, I can practically hear the cogs turning in her head, at top speed as she puts things together, trying to figure out how she can smooth the matter over. Breaking the silence, I ask her whether she's aware that there was another student who dropped out in addition to the third years.
当時の1年生で八代先輩のアミティエだった秋津しおりさんも噂が出た少し後に学院を去っています。
Yeah, this is the thing that confuses me because, like, what do the pictures mean? They're supposed to be two different people, one of them an adult. They kind of look similar in the way they're drawn. Okay, but that's not really much to go on because a lot of the girls look similar in terms of their face and the way they're drawn. What is that supposed to suggest? And why still would a teacher do that? I'm so confused.
彼女は八代先輩と仲が良かった。いいえ。
She was in love with her, I say. Oh, sorry. Miss Karasumori wanted Akitsu-san and Yatsushiro-senpai to be together. So she spread those rumors about Komikado-senpai to try to get rid of her. Sister Basket's brows knit together. She asks me why she would do such a thing. This is a secret of the academy is that she wants to remain hidden.
それは烏森教諭と秋津しおりさんには密接なつながりがあったからです。彼女の恋を応援するほどの。
Still doesn't make enough sense. With that, I take out the photos. I hand her one of them, telling her I borrowed it from Hokama-senpai.
写真
I watch Sister Basket carefully as she takes the photo from me. Then I pass her the one I borrowed from Miss Ishizuka.
バスキア教諭、何か気づいた点はありますか？
これは聖母祭での一枚と、こちらは標本作業をしている時の
この2枚の写真には共通点があります。
She compares the two photos, then, after a moment, murmurs, the bow. Bingo.
どちらもエプロンの結び目が縦になっています。はじめは偶然だと思いました。でも、この結び方には意味がありました。
Very interestingly, and I think this is the reason why I also noticed it, is because we're watching like a crime-solving kind of series at the moment, and there was an episode where figuring out the culprit hinged on realizing that she had this habit of tying bows vertically and not horizontally. Yeah, well, sorry, not the habit, but like there was something specific that in an instance she tied it differently than she would usually do it, and that was the giveaway. So I think that's why my mind computed so fast on that one. It was familiar.
標本作業で液浸作業などを行う際、伸びたリボンの紐が邪魔にならないようわざと縦に結ぶやり方があると聞きました。
Ah, okay, so I see it's occupational inclination. That sounds fair.
どうやらこれは烏森教諭の癖のようです。
Next, I point to the image of Shiori Akitsu in the photo I got from Hokama senpai.
秋津さんも同じように縦にエプロンを結んでいます。礼法の授業のあるこの学院ではおかしな符号です。だから私は岡間先輩へ訪ねてみました。するとたまたま訪れていた烏森教諭が海外しく秋津さんのエプロンを結んでいたことを思い出し、私へそう話してくれました。バスキア教諭、烏森みどり教諭と秋津しおりさんは近しい関係。例えば親戚同士だった。違いますか？
The photos alerted me to something, though I couldn't quite put my finger on what. And then there were the words of my stepmother. People commit crimes for one of three reasons: love, money, or to cover up a motive. I focused on the motive part. I wondered if there was a person standing at the center of all the information I'd gathered, if there was someone trying to hide a motive. At last, Sister Basket speaks, her expression pained.
以前伺ったことがある。
Cousins. There we go.
二人はいとこ同士だったそうよ。
But still, like, it's so weird. If she was the teacher, then she was an adult, and to get so pettily involved with the romantic pursuits of your cousin and to want to encourage them to the point where you spread false rumors about another student in your school, that's my head cannot wrap itself around that. After her long silence, she confirms my hunch.
烏森教諭はいとこに対しての善意から秋津さんが恋焦がれている八代先輩との恋を実らせるために悪い噂を広めた。
Who believes this actually could have achieved it? Crickets. Nobody. Nobody. Like, that's no way that is an avenue that would lead to that outcome. But Yatsuro Senpai dispelled the rumor herself. After all, it was rooted in next to nothing.
それは小見門先輩の性格やもともと3年生との関係が希薄なことからです。脅す理由がない。しかし辞めた3年生の部屋からほどなくして脅迫文が見つかった。
まさかそれも。
辞めた生徒の部屋は当然施錠し管理される。鍵を持ち出せるのは限られた人物です。
Of course, this wasn't accounting for any students who might happen somehow to have acquired lockpicking skills. I think Riley of Erika-san.
この脅迫文もコミカド先輩の筆跡を真似てはいましたが、文字の書き癖を完全に消すことができず、八代先輩にカンパされてしまった。そして
I posit that Yatsushiro-senpai confronted Miss Karasumori and got her to admit to her guilt.
彼女は学院を去った。
I nod. However, Sister Basket interjects.
市場に駆られた烏森教諭が学院を去ったのはわかるわ。でも、秋津さんまで辞めることはなかった。
My ears start to ring. She's still trying to keep her secrets. I don't understand what's happening. Ah! There she is again. My stepmother's voice is a loaded murmur in my ear. I clench my fists, willing her away. The gesture gives me the courage to say what needs to be said. I look Sister Basket directly in the eye, steeling myself to voice a taboo that she'll see as unforgivable, both as a Christian and as an individual.
標本学の烏森みどり教諭はいとこである秋津しおりさんを愛していたのではないですか?
Oh, that's so messed up in so many ways. I say it. It's something of a stretch, but I've come to what I believe is a conclusive explanation for why... A conclusive explanation, she says. Alright. For why Shuri Akitsu left the academy. I'm picking out old wounds. But if I'm to get my hands on the key that leads to Mairi, I need adequate information. Hard facts, not hypotheses. Sister Basket remains tight-lipped, as though silence is golden. Yet it says as much as silver. She seems resolved not to break it. However, I ask her to take another good look at the photos. For there's one more sign.
私が烏森教諭と秋津さんがつながりが深いのではないかと推察したのは、エプロンの結び目だけではありません。もう一つ。
Indicating the photos in Sister Basket's hand, I point out the other commonality from which I surmised that the two were closer than originally thought.
秋津しおりさんが髪につけているシュシュ、そして烏森教諭が手首につけているもの。ペアアクセサリーを相手に送るわけにはいかない。だからこそ身につけられる常識の範囲で送ったものなのでしょう。これは烏森教諭から送られたものなのですか?
Or was it the other way around, I ask. It's not definitive proof, it's just one of the hints that led me to the idea that they were related. However,
バスキア教諭。
by producing my evidence one piece at a time, I can make her think I've got more up my sleeve, and thereby drawing out the truth from her. It's a tactic I've learned from novels. I say her name again. But she maintains her silence. I bite my lip.
あなたは嘘をつかれるのですか?
Oh gosh, okay. I ask her. I just stop myself from adding an again to the end of my question. Her face twists into an expression of anguish. It's the kind of look people get when you've hit them where it hurts. Perhaps this will lead her to reveal her secret.
でもここで引き下がることはできない。
I need some information that's not just speculation, and I can't get it from anyone other than Sister Basket, who took over Miss Karasumori's specimen preparation classes.
白羽さん、私は聖職者です。
バスキア教諭。
Okay. What does that mean?
烏森教諭は学院を去る際、引き継ぎをする私へ懺悔をなされました。正式な国会です。その内容を他に漏らすことはできません。
ですが、
世間話をしましょうか、白羽さん。どこにでもいるような生徒と教師のお話を。
Hearing this, I hold my tongue.
教師は生徒のことを愛していました。愛しているからこそ幸せになってほしいと願い去っていきました。
秋津さん、いえ、生徒に対して教師は気持ちを伝えなかったのですか？
This is just a story. A dime a dozen story about a nameless student and teacher.
生徒が幸せになるのなら自分が相手でなくとも構わない。教師はそういう人だったの。生徒を真実の意味で愛していたのです。だけどいいえ、だからこそ辛い顔だけは見たくない。
And so she headed down the wrong path, she goes on.
真相を見抜かれ教師は学院を去りました。道を誤った自分は教師でいる資格はないと。
その生徒は真実を知ったから学院を去ったのですか？
その生徒は聡明な方でした。何も告げずに辞めた教師を見て理解したのでしょう。
I imagine Akitsu-san passing through the gates to the academy in the clear chill of early winter, and suddenly feel unbearably sad. How must she have felt leaving everything behind? And how must Yatsushiro-san have felt left alone in her now incongruously spacious dorm room?
世間話はここまでです。
八代先輩が残した課題のようなものです。
I cut her off with my answer.
課題？
二階屋の会の会長が書き残していた年間に1年以上前に起こった事件の記述が、もちろんそれとは分からぬように記されていたのです。私はこれを八代先輩が残した私自身が解決しなければならない課題だと感じました。
Of course this isn't true, but I can't tell Sister Basket that I was driven to solve the case because it would provide a lead to Shion Basket.
そうですか。
Oh, Bear. Yeah. There are, though, some Beatrice vibes in all of the moments when her stepmother is haunting her. I was actually thinking that earlier. But in terms of like... okay, we figured this thing out. I can't really tell how this would connect to Shion Basket. And how it overall could possibly connect to Mayuri, but I guess we'll see.
はい。このことは私へと向けられた課題。誰にも言うつもりはありません。ただ、知りたかったのです。
This isn't a lie, perhaps because they have the ring of truth. My words chime in the air with a strange clarity before fading into silence like a receding wave. It doesn't feel real. In the dimness of the textiles room, I see two figures. The nun revealing the truth as though giving confession, and my stepmother hovering like a ghost in the corner. But now I must face reality. The cold creeping up from the soles of my feet is undeniably real, and as is the specter of my stepmother slowly closing in on me.
もう少しだから待っていて、まゆり。
I've solved the mystery of the Bloody Mary incident that Yatsushiro-senpai once untangled herself. In doing so, I've taken another step toward my amitié. Filled with a sense of satisfaction that conflicts with the deep underlying feeling of desolation, I slowly close my eyes. Then I send up a prayer for Mayuri and for those girls who scattered to the wind like snowflakes. Okay. Lying in bed, I think back on my exchange with Sister Basket in the textiles room. I've solved the mystery that will lead me to the key to Shion Basket. I'd already drawn my own conclusions, but on hearing Sister Basket's testimony, I was able to confirm that I was right. This would lead me to Mairi. I can't set off down a path based on nothing but supposition.
八代先輩が血まみれメアリー事件にて解き明かした犯人はいとこを思うあまりに道を誤った標本学の烏森みどり教諭。
Yes, this is a farewell gift given out of concern for you. I'm going to tell you a bit of intel I got from an incident I investigated a year ago. That's what Yatsushiro-senpai said when she directed me toward the ruins of the old chapel where Shion Basket lay.
先輩が1年生の時に調べていた事件、シオンバスキアへと至る鍵は烏森みどり教諭が握っていた。
No.
学院から去った八代先輩のアミティへ秋津しおりさんが何かを残し、そこから旧聖堂を。
You can't do anything with no pieces, but it's also a problem when you have too many. More Mineko references. Inadvertent references. My potential theories are chaotically multitudinous, and frustration swirls within me. Turning away from the ceiling and onto my side, I squint into the dim room. Oh, God. This thing will never stop from giving me it will always do that. It's just I'm never braced for it, you know, even though obviously when it happens shortly after I'm like, of course it's here. I never expect from the corner beside my desk, my stepmother speaks to me in a quiet yet clear voice. I'm losing heart. Despite finally solving the mystery Yatsushiro-senpai left for me and digging up conclusive proof, my nerves are faltering. With slow, trudging footsteps, she approaches me. Nausea rears up within me like the ominous grumble of a distant thunder. I clench my fists in an attempt to make myself feel brave. But my stepmother is still there, moving inexorably toward me. Even worse than looking into my stepmother's face is the thought of her wicked form looming over Rika-san as she lays sleeping in the bunk below. I clutch at my chest, my fingernails digging into my skin, as I will her not to. The dark figure stops in her tracks and turns her hateful gaze on me. It sounds like a riddle. No, it's a quote from a conversation between Michael Corleone and Frank Petangeli in The Godfather Part 2. As I mull over the phrase in bewilderment, she abruptly disappears, leaving nothing but her faint cackling in my ears. My stepmother is a spectre thrown up by mind, which makes anything she says a product of my own brain. Of course, I'm glad you're aware of that. So what did those words mean?
敵の次の動きを予測するために自分の手元に置くべきという言葉。動機、狙いを理解すること。彼らの弱みを見つけること。
But I mean, can we even call anyone in this novel an enemy? Like, in the proper sense of the word? I don't know. Enemies close by. Was the key left to me by Yatsushiro-senpai? Okay, so was the key left to me by Yatsushiro-senpai one that leads not to the deceased Shion basket, but to the tulpa of Agape? Again, another thing that I don't understand. Enemies, that's a strong word. Who would want that label applied to? Sorry, who would that label apply to? Yeah, that's actually a good question, right? Because who could we generally call an enemy for her? Well, she may have given me the clue to unraveling the Bloody Mary case. That doesn't mean she'll always lead me true. Fighting back the nausea that threatens to well up in me again, I close my eyes and try to sleep. Usually any time spent in this place would be filled with nothing but fear. Yet today...
今はむしろ喜ばしいことだわ。
Oh, really? How so? For someone like me, with my crippling fear of bugs and butterflies, simply being in the specimen room is a grueling trial. But now...
大手を振って標本室に入れる。
I mutter, forcing myself to look at the racks of specimens. My gaze travels over the shelf with the wet specimens, then... The dry specimens are split between a shelf of entomological specimens and taxidermy, and a shelf of crystals, fossils, and other such samples. The stuffed foxes and martens aren't particularly disturbing. Oh no? Really? Okay. But, butterflies aside, the scarabs and rhinoceros beetles with their thick shiny shells send a shiver of disgust up my spine. I saw. Struggling to suppress the goosebumps prickling across my skin, I'm steeling myself to deal with the entomological specimens when someone calls my name. I accidentally let out a little scream.
ごめんなさい。そんなに驚かせるとは思わなくて。いいの。大丈夫よ。もしかして昆虫標本の棚を見ていたから驚いたの？
I don't want to lie to her if I can help it. Turning my back on the shelf, I nod.
やっぱりだから掃除の分担をするときにスオーさんは床掃除にしたらって言ったのに。
Ah, so she is cleaning, okay. She was absolutely right that I should have. However...
標本室の掃除当番なんてなかなか順番が回ってくるものではないもの。
Okay, since we began taking classes in specimen preparation, cleaning the specimen room has been added as one of the chores on our list of post-lunch cleaning duties. Of course, since the other year groups also make use of this classroom, we take it in turns. And within the first years, we each take it in turns to be on duty, which means I don't have many chances to use cleaning as an excuse to search.
スオさん？そうね。私が床掃除、リッカさんが標本棚の清掃すればよかったのよね。
Okay. While it would be a heavy-handed use of my power as the president of the Council of Nicaea, I have the authority to get the key to the specimen room. Being fearful isn't going to help me search in this limited window of opportunity. As much as it pains me, I decide I'll have to use my power as president. After a brief conflicted moment, I nod and Rika-san giggles.
だからそう言ったでしょ。でも、リッカさん？初めに決めたことは最後までしなくちゃね。さあ、畑で標本棚の埃をきれいにしてちょうだい。
She informs me in a tone that doesn't leave room to argue. You signed up for it, and now you gotta do it, girl. Yep, go for it. I think of the movie Sophie's Choice, and the titular choice the protagonist is forced to make. A choice between death or despair. Oh no. The glasses have turned opaque. I repeat, the glasses have turned opaque.
冗談よ、冗談。たまにはいちごさんみたいに冗談を言ってみたくて。そう、冗談なの。
I find it hard to tell if someone's joking when they say it with a straight face, so I took it at face value. I feel like my insides have been stuffed with cotton wool.
苦手な昆虫標本の棚を掃除しなくてはいけなくなったというだけじゃない。
It felt like when I was bullied at the previous school I attended.
窓側の方は掃除し終わったから、廊下側の残りをお願い。
Suo has too much trauma accumulated and then she projects it on everything, unfortunately.
私の方は白片標本、鉱物や化石の棚と。なるほど。苦手な昆虫標本の棚と液芯標本以外は終わっているわね。それじゃ早く片付けてしまいましょう。
Her chirpy smile relaxes me as I take the dustpan and brush from her. As I sweep, I notice that it started snowing outside. Big, soft, white flakes. The kind of snow you only realize is falling when it comes into view. Staring at the snow floating down from the sky like downy feathers, surrounded by the silent, dead, frozen in time, I feel as though time has stopped for me as well. Like I've been pinned in place by a lance through my own heart. Whenever I see snowfall, rather than appreciating its beauty, instead I feel a hollow sadness for my stepbrother.
Rika-san?
Eh? Alerted by a sound behind me, my attention is quickly drawn back to her. Something glass broke. As I expected from the noise, she dropped a specimen jar. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Signature look of superiority. Aha, I see. Okay. I am familiar with the reference there. Okay. The vial which contained the plant specimen has smashed. The distinctive scent of formaldehyde, somewhere between paint thinner and insect repellent, fills the air.
先生をその前に片付けてしまいましょう。ガラスを片付けておかないと危ないわ。
Rika-san nods her agreement and I warn her not to touch the shattered fragments. I go to the next door storeroom to grab newspaper to wrap up the shards and rags to wipe up the spilled formalin. After finding what I was looking for, I return to the specimen room. Oh no, did you cut yourself?
手を切ってしまったの?
Seeing Rika-san clasping her finger, I toss the things aside and rush over to her. Taking her hand in mine, I find blood beading from a 1 centimeter gash on her right index finger.
ごめんなさい。大きなガラス片だけでも
You never do that. You never do that, but I guess you learn it from experience. Do not touch broken glass with your bare hands. Do not. Just like use any other tool that you have at your disposal. Just like don't touch it. Don't even risk it. You don't know. It might look innocent, but then when you touch it, you realize it's like a sharp motherfucker. So yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I do as my granddad once did for me and stick her finger into my mouth. As I suck on it, the faint metallic tang of blood fills my mouth. Imagine if she touched formaldehyde with that, and now you're putting that into your mouth as well. So, what are you doing? Pursing my lips, I suck hard in case a sliver of glass has found its way into the wound. Okay, so it's... yeah, okay. I understand, but still... I probe her finger with the tip of my tongue. It still tastes coppery, so the cut must still be bleeding. I continue sucking until I can no longer taste blood. Then, after another moment, I remove my lips. I understand her reasoning behind it. I understand that this can be a form of first aid in such situations, but jeez. I peer into Rika-san's dazed face and she stares intently back for a moment before blinking like she's waking up from a dream. After sweeping up the glass shards, I take Rika-san, who still seems like she's just awoken from a dream, by the hand and lead her to the nurse's office. Oh! Oh, that's okay. Do we get a perspective change or something?
私が欲したものは決して手に入らない。彼女と、彼女のアミティエとの物語は
Let me
その
disappear
言葉から
myself.
始まっていた。
Yeah, I was about to say those were the first words of the story.
出会いの季節の春、聖アングレカム学院に入学したこと。不安を抱えていた彼女は、この学院でやっていけるのかと、素直な気持ちを綴っていた。家の事情から離れることを決意してはいたが、家元から離れるのは初めてだったし、寮暮らしも不安だったと。学院に入学したての私と同じ気持ちが綴られていた。しかし、学院の
That's pretty.
桜の木の下での出会いが不安をまるで引き波のように消し去ったのだと記されていた。
Ah, this does this instead. Sorry, I was trying to hit space to... Aha! This is what I meant to do. I wanted to see the image without the thing. It's so pretty. So pretty. Very nice. Okay, everything is good. Let's continue.
なぜだか私をほうけたように見つめる彼女に、自分自身も目をそらせなかったと。彼女を初めて見たときは、桜の精のようだと感じたのだという。高校と照らす月光の中、佇む姿はまるで現実とは思えなかった。黒く長い髪が、真っ白い肌が、作り物のような端正な顔立ちが月の光にほのかに浮かび上がった様はまるで現実感がなかったと思えば、この時からすでに心を奪われていたのかもしれない。そう赤裸々に心情が語られ、満開の夜桜の下で初めて交わした二人のやりとりが続く。固くはあるが、出会いのやりとりに心が温かくなるのを感じた。結びに、この出会いは必然であったと思う。そう、不吉な言葉で締められていた。初めの書き出しにあった、私が欲したものは決して手に入らない。その言葉と、最後に記されていた言葉に、胸の奥を節の多い虫が這い回るようなひどく不吉な思いがこみ上げたのだった。
That image, okay. No, thank you.
グリム童話にカエルの王様と呼ばれる一編がある。日本ではカエルの王子様として知られる物語。王女様が感謝の印としてカエルにキスをして魔法使いの呪いが解け、カエルは人の姿に戻り王女様と結ばれるというもの。でも本当のお話では知られている物語ほど優しくはない。泉に金のマリを落とした王女様へカエルは、友達になってくれるのなら拾ってきますと申し出る。王女様はその条件を飲むもカエルと友達になろうとせず城へと去ってしまう。これから始まる物語は、友を得たいがために友を切り捨てる哀れなカエルのお話。
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, new chapter then. Actually, since we're here starting a new chapter, I think it's a good moment. I'll just run quickly to the bathroom and I will be right back in a couple minutes. Here I am, and also here I am. Yeah, there we go. Someone calls out a greeting to me. Oh,
ごきげんよう。
oh, this is pretty. Oh, oh, cute, cute, cute. Forcing a smile, I returned the greeting. It's the middle of winter here at St. Angrecum Academy. With the crisp air against my cheeks, I walk on as my classmates shower me with greetings. Bathed in the bright white morning light, the school looks the same as ever, cold and imposing. Each day is like a mirror image of the last. The only difference is in how I feel. The greetings don't fill me with anxiety. Pasting a smile to my face, like the one I once practiced in front of a mirror, I respond genially. On top of
ま
that,
た一つ、まゆりへと近づけたこと。
the new information I've received seems almost to insulate me from the piercing cold. Looking up at the school building, my heart and mind are still and quiet, as though I stand at the edge of the world. Then, after a long moment, I break the spell.
新しい前提のもと、シオンバスキアを調べる。
I have to give voice to my determination to make it real. Just as I once made a similar vow to the deathly silence of the dormitory corridor, I speak my resolve, quiet but determined.
Several years before, with her, some villages were visited. Silkworm raising seemed to have been popular formerly.
I barely hear Sister Basket as she reads from the English textbook. I can barely understand that English. A howling wind batters my ears, blocking out everything else. That wind is a storm of my own words. My brain is focused on only one thing.
八代先輩は烏森教諭が起こした事件を経てシオンバスキアへと到達した。ならば烏森教諭とシオンバスキアには手に取ってわかるような明確なつながりがあるのだろうか。
I see her face in my mind's eye. The photo I borrowed from Miss Ishizuka is my only frame of reference. She wore glasses along with a serious expression. What could the specimen prep teacher possibly have in common with Shion Basket? Perhaps Shion Basket was her teacher? If Shion Basket was Sister Basket's father, the ages would align. It would also make sense for Sister Basket to take over teaching specimen preparation if her father had also taught her about the subject.
ちゃんってば、邪魔しちゃいけませんよ、いちごね。考え事をしているみたいだけどさ、今日の日付からすると出席番号で刺されそうじゃん。何やら随分と重大なことを考えている顔つきですね。
Detective Ringo。
昔犯した悪事を開墾しているのかもよ。映画のラストサマーみたいにさ。エリカ先生のような言い回しのジョークですね。
No, if Shion Basket had been her teacher, if Shion Basket taught specimen preparation here prior to Miss Karasumori taking the job, their name should have been in the staff registers.
ラストサマーみたいに故意的に隠していたら別だけれど。
She's thinking of the same movie.
聞こえてたんだ。
A sudden loud voice by my ear pulls me out of my cotton wool haze.
聞こえているのに無視するなんてひどいじゃんか。今日の日付だけど。
日付がどうしましたか?
When I look up, Sister Basket is regarding Ichigo-san with a mask-like smile.
いえ、はい。
She looks so different to how she did last night.
日付がどうだと聞こえた気がしてですね。シオンバスキアとはどんな人物なのだろう。
We get to feel things from Suo's completely dense and absorbed perspective. Like in one year I have Ichigo being Ichigo, and on the other year I have his Sister Basket saying things, and they're kind of like slightly muffled in the background. And Suo is just like, who is Shion Basket? I try to imagine them as I regard Sister Basket. She's even looking at Sister Basket and not realizing what's happening. Oh my god.
おかしいんだよ。お前が？私がおかしいのは普通でしょ。スーオちゃんのことだよ。
I'm still deep in thought as I methodically eat my spinach and oyster gratin.
烏森教諭とつながりがあると考えていたけれど、人ではなく標本学そのものだとしたらどうだろう。
Taking another mechanical bite of food, I wonder whether Shion could be an euphemism or shorthand for something.
標本学でシオンという言葉が暗喩として使われていることはないだろうか。長すぎる学術名のため、そう区切って伝えられるとか。
確かに何やら考え込んでいる感じだな。
そうでしょ？今朝からずっとこんな感じなんだよ。もしかして落ち込んでいるのかもだよ。
Now they're diagnosing her. Okay.
落ち込んでいるって。例の件は別に解決できなくても落ち込むような話じゃなかっただろう。
例の件って落ち込むって何？
こっちの話だよ。塞いでいるだけなら視聴覚室で男たちの挽歌でも見りゃスカッとするんだけどな。
あんな血みどろな映画を見て気分が晴れるわけないでしょ。
気分爽快になる映画はすべからく血みどろだろうが。
個人的な映画的見解はその辺に。皆心当たりがないのですね。
ああ。
いちご姉はありそうですけれど。ないよ。
The first thing that comes to mind when I hear shion is a chemical formula like sodium cyanide, and various chemicals are used in the preparation of specimens. However,
標本学の暗喩までは専門書に載っているかはわからない。なら。
oh, thank you for hanging out, Kevin. Take care, take care. Good luck with everything, and have a nice evening. I'd have to ask Sister Basket.
それはダメ。
ほら、白羽さんもエリカの映画センスはないって言ってるわよ。
勝手につぶやきを恣意的に置き換えるな。なあお前、ちょっと白羽の前でゴッドファーザーのモノマネでもしてやれよ。吹き出すかもしれないぜ。
映画のモノマネなんてやったことないよ。それにどの役のモノマネをするの？
ゴッドファーザーでモノマネと言ったら青年期のビトー・コルレオーネしかないだろう。頬の両側にちぎったパンを詰め込んで喋れば誰でもビトー・コルレオーネに激人になれる。
本当に？スオちゃんが笑ってくれるのが
Oi,
喜ぶさ。
Ichigo, no.
冗談ですからパンを探さないでください。
Yeah.
それにしてもこういう時に一番に騒ぐ人がいないわね。
Rika? Is she talking about Rika?
副会長様のことか。確かにいつもなら大騒ぎするところだが。
なんでも今の時期が2回屋の会で一番忙しい時期だそうですよ。
それじゃあこいつは。
Realizing I've been staring down intently at my gratin, lost in thought, I spear an oyster with my fork and pop the whole thing into my mouth. I was expecting it to have cooled down after leaving it for so long, but it's still scalding. My attention is slowly pulled back to the present, and I realize that everyone is staring at me.
どうしたの？
I so girl.
いや、どうしたっていうかさ。
花火師さんは食事を早く切り上げて2階屋の階に向かったそうだけれど、白羽さんはいいの？
Oh dear. I have no excuse. Oh man. She is completely neglecting her duties and her position after putting in so much work to get there. She just needs to snap out of it. Basically, Rika is taking care of everything and is having everything under control. And that's not a good look.
それで白羽会長、説明会の段取りですが。
いえ、その前に聖書の贈呈式を先に決めておかないと。
So many things to be decided on. There are many things that need to be worked on to ensure the entrance ceremony goes ahead without a hitch in April. With February now in sight, we have to settle on our general course of action and make a start on the preliminary preparations.
贈呈式に配られる聖書は教会から送られてくるのよね。
先代の申し送りにそうありました。通例としては奨励題をこちらで設け、それを優秀な生徒を選出し贈呈式で読み上げる。そして
その後にいただいた聖書から詩編を選び、みんなで唱和すると。
はい、聖歌を2曲そらんじるのが通例となっています。
昨年は何を歌われたのかしら。
Oh, sorry. Rika-san flips through the pages.
我神を褒めと麗しマリアのですね。
Secretary Tsuabaki answers. The group starts to discuss the psalms we should pick for this year.
これじゃ新しい事件を組み込んだ推理をする暇もない。
There are many details that need working out. However, the major concerns are the school information session, the Bible presentation ceremony, and the orienteering event to welcome new students.
オリエンテーリング。
I have memories of Mayuri from our own orienteering event.
オリエンテーリングじゃなくてオリエンテーションよ。
Apparently, I said that out loud.
オリエンテーションは入学式の後で上級生の方に学院内を案内してもらったでしょ。
Now I recall how I left the upperclassmen hanging due to my own crippling anxiety. Yes, I remember that.
あれが
なんというか通例では2年生が新入生を迎えるのだろうけれど
Mention your own issue, gloss over it. I guess we should mention it? Yeah, that's it. I must have been pulling a particularly dour face. I hurriedly flapped my hand around.
違うの。春の時に二人きりで学院を案内してもらうのが恥ずかしくてなかなか声をかけられなくて。
そんなことが。
The other council members stare at me in surprise, and I even hear one teasing voice say, "How cute." My face flushes all the way to the tips of my ears.
はいはい。会長の意外な一面が分かったのは良かったけれど、今は会議中よ。
I send a silent thanks towards Rika-san as she flashes me a look.
ともかく、オリエンテーションも新たな課題ができたわ。
それは
当たり前のことだけど、みんながみんな同じではないということ。通例で二人きりで案内するとあるけれど、緊張する人もいるのだろうし。ただ今まで通り運営するだけではなく、よりよく改革していくのも私たちの仕事だわ。みんなも気づいたら私や白羽会長に聞かせてちょうだい。
Everyone voices their assent, and a warm fuzzy feeling fills my chest as I think how glad I am that Rika-san decided to run for vice president. Yeah, she's holding everything together. You gotta be more grateful to her.
1週間後になります。
Even as I perform my library duties, the majority of my brain space has been colonized by a thick sludge of questions. There are the three main events organized by the Council of Nicaea, and on top of that...
冬の草花についての本を探しているのだけれど。
はい。では、右奥の植物図鑑が置かれている棚に季節の花木の書物がありますが。
そうなの？ありがと
う。Is this gonna be a hint?
いえ、もしよろしければご一緒にお探ししましょうか。
I'm so busy that I haven't been able to find a spare moment to follow up on my latest lead.
大丈夫です。恐れ多い。
はい。
After thanking me again, she hurries off toward the back of the library. A tiny part of my brain, the part still untouched by the sludge, worries I might have done something to offend her.
質問があるのですけれど、よろし。
Okay, another upperclassman addresses me and I turn my smile on her. She's tall with her hair tied up like Ichigo-san, and for some reason her cheeks are flushed.
本当に妖精みたい。
She murmurs something to herself.
そういえば。
Something clicks in my brain and I take a good look around the room. The library doesn't usually get many visitors,
最
but...
近使用する人が多くなった気がする。
Looking over at the students filling the desks, I sluggishly wonder what's going on.
ようやく処置仲間の魅力に気づいたってことだろうな。
エリカが冗談を言うなんて
冗談半分、本気半分な具合だが、お前らから見て白羽が変わったことに気づかないか。
いつものスオちゃんだと思うけど。です。
なるほど。お前らは色眼鏡なく見ているから気づけないってわけだ。なあ相棒。
何よ。
お前から見て白羽は 変わったように見えるか？
そうね、なんというか、いつもの触れると壊れてしまいそうな繊細さがあまり感じないというか。
そう？
私はそう思うのだけど。
そいつは半分正解で半分誤りだ。今の白羽は容量オーバーなんだよ。
それって。
理由は2回の貝絡みだろうが、余裕がないために緊張をする間もなく自然体のような体で対応。
私たちが感じているのと同じようにクラスメイトからも見えているというわけですね。
Ah, I see.
意味がわからないわ。
いつもは持ち前の内気な性格で臆病に振る舞っている。まあこれは他のやつからには大人の雰囲気とやらに変換されているのだろうが。
つまり今は余裕がないから、それが繊細な雰囲気を消し去って親しみやすくなっているということ？
正解。
そんなにそうちゃんって話しかけにくいかな。
美人で独特の雰囲気を持つやつってのは普通話しがたいものなんだよ。お前らは得な性格をしてるだけだ。
褒められたですね。
褒めてない。
理由は分かったけれど、それにしてもこの人気ぶりは異常だわ。
八代先輩だよ。
え？
あの人と同じだ。白羽も八代先輩も図抜けた美人だ。だが八代先輩は学院の花で、白羽は壁の花だった。
容姿とか？八代先輩は中性的なハーフ美人で、白羽さんはしとやかな大和なでしこみたいな感じだし。
容姿は関係ない。一定水準を超えるとあとは好き好きだからな。
What does this mean? It's all much of a muchness. I've never heard that before.
それじゃあ性格かしら？
ま、そういうことだよ。どちらも寡黙で壁の花をしていたら話しかけにくいのは変わりない。だが八代先輩は自分の容姿を理解していた。
どういうこと？まさかあの性格が作ったものだったっていうの？
そうじゃない。警戒している相手にただニコリと微笑んであげりゃいいのさ。おとぎ話に出てくるような容姿の美人だ。そりゃ疎外感を持たれる。
Erika is a top tier yapper, yeah, that she is, for sure.
八代先輩は自分の容姿が人に与える影響を知っていた。だから余計な緊張や疎外感を与えてしまう前に自分から相手の輪の中に入っていった。
それが笑顔ってわけね。
そういえば確かにそうちゃんって他の人と話してることあまり見たことないかも。自分からは話しかけてはいませんでしたね。
今も話しかけちゃいないが、触れれば崩れるような危うい雰囲気が失せている。だから話しかけやすく、それでいて容量オーバーだからてらいもなく話し返せる。
まあ演劇の世界でもちょっと見ない美人だし、仲良くなりたい気持ちはわからないでもないわ。
そして今は白羽を守る門番もいないからな。
Bodyguard, Jesus.
それは
お前のことを言ってるんだぞ、委員長。おい。
何？
ぼーっとしているとアミティエを取られちまうって話してたんだよ。
スオさん。
は
何？
ちゃんと手綱を握っておけよ。お前以外のやつがさらっていくとか許さないからな。
何を言って。
リッカさん。
Hearing my Amitia partner's raised voice, I look over to see her face looking flushed. For some reason, Erika-san and the others are all staring at me.
どうしたっていうの？
What's going on? I can't help but ask Erika-san directly when we eat lunch together. Something seems off with her. She doesn't seem to realize the question is directed at her. Or rather, she's so distracted that she may not have heard me at all. She hasn't touched her tray of matsutake mushroom rice. Not that I have either. Focusing on my food, I take a bite from the bowl of rice. As the distinctive taste of matsutake mushrooms spreads across my tongue, I feel as though a fog has lifted from before my eyes. With sudden clarity, I realize just how hungry I am, and quickly dig into the rest. I can tell that the rice has the school's special stock added to it, in addition to the customary sake, soy sauce, and rice white vinegar. It's a classic combo-based stock. They simmer the kelp at a medium heat, then add a pinch of bonito flakes and simmer again before straining the liquid. This little extra touch emphasizes the rich umami of the mushrooms, infusing the whole dish with their fragrant flavor. In a little side bowl, there's a pile of grated green yuzu peel. A sprinkle of the citrusy peel halfway through the meal can change up the flavor so it stays interesting. Although we can choose our lunch from a menu, it's made using a limited range of ingredients. Still, the kitchen staff will sometimes indulge specific requests. My eyes meet the chef's across the room and she flashes me a smile. Today I asked for her personal recommendation and I realize now how thoughtful her choice was. Previously, Erika-san and I chatted with the chef, who Erika-san seems to be on friendly terms with, about our favorite seasonal dishes. I mentioned that it was a shame I didn't get to eat this particular meal back in early autumn. When I smile encouragingly at her, she refocuses on her forgotten lunch and daintily uses her chopsticks to carry a bite to her lips. Rika seems distracted now too. What is going on? We both smile at one another, then turn back to our food, truly savoring it. Erika-san would be proud. No one's ever said that to me before. Surprised, I take a sip of clear broth and ask her curiously if that's really the case. She nods earnestly. I've been so busy and overwhelmed that I've simply been trying to make it through each day as it comes. If it means I can be friends with everyone, I wish I had a little breathing room. I'd go for the first one, but... no, actually that's not it. I wish I had a little breathing room. Okay. Rika-san tugs on her braids, awaiting my answer. I take a sip of the clear broth that accompanies the dish as I think about her question. Yeah, that's more like the feeling along which I felt like answering, but I guess that's not the direction. Ah, that's what you mean by breathing room. Oh, okay, that's fine, that's fine. Suddenly she's energized. She leans forward and clasps my hand in hers, her palm soft and hot against my skin. I think to myself that she must be just as busy these days as I am. When I've finished eating, I clench my fists, feeling like I've regained my vitality.
みんなきっと遅いって待ってると思うわ。
そうね。
Ika-san flashes me her usual smile, and I move to stack her tray with mine.
それじゃあ先に向かっていて。トレイを返し終わったらすぐに追うから。
Erika runs on Sua's affection and tea and little else. Yeah, it seems so.
私と一緒に。
調理師の方に一言お礼を言いたいの。
I think Sua was absolutely wrong when she was performing first aid on her finger. I think she wasn't tasting blood at all. That was probably an overflow of some sort of tea coming out from her veins.
そう、わかったわ。
A shadow seems to eclipse her sunny smile, like a forbidding coral reef revealed by a receding wave. What?
考えすぎだわ。
Why would she be sad? I pick up the trays and head toward the drop-off point.
私はスオーさんにとって必要なのかしら。
Ah, these teenagers with their existential drama. I say that, but I've been one myself. Behind me, her quiet words are swallowed up by the buzz of conversation before they can reach my ears. Aye. Let me take this chance to sit down now. I've been standing for a while. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Okay. Good. And one, I think. There we go. As I fill the pail with hot water, I try to remember who it was that told me that proverb. It was back in the spring, when the flowers were in full bloom. It's no good. My memories are all fuzzy.
私は与えられた機会をうまく使えているのだろうか。
The proverb makes me think of my own situation right now, and whether I'm dancing to the right tune. Am I solving the mysteries to bring me closer to her, even as I expertly dance the steps expected of me?
彼女のおかげで夏に決意し、私なりに行動を起こし、消えたアミティへの影を求めた。
However, there it is again. Abruptly, I shrink back. My stepmother has appeared in the clouded mirror, her gaze sliding over my body like slime as she cackles.
あの言葉は本心じゃない。
そう思い込みたいだけ。たかだか3ヶ月一緒にいただけの相手よ。恋人だった時なんてもっと少ない。ねえ、言っている意味わかるでしょ？
I glare at the woman in the mirror, but it only makes her laugh harder.
お前は誰からも必要とされない。
黙って。
私のことはもう忘れてほしい。優しくて虫唾が走る言葉だわ。
黙りなさい。
Oh god. A scream from behind me finally brings me back to my senses. Unfortunately, it seems the student walking behind me overheard my
ご
outburst.
めんなさい。お湯の調節で驚いてしまって。
Aware that my fumbled excuse doesn't really explain my choice of words, I cringe as I regard the other student in the mirror.
いちごさん。
スオちゃんじゃん。急に大声を出すからびっくりしたよ。
ごめんなさい。お湯の調節を間違えて。
ああ、私的にもよくやるよ。ここのシャワー使いづらいもんね。
Seemingly she didn't catch the words I shouted, only the noise. I offer her a faint smile as I turn off the faucet.
うちの家のシャワーって温度が定まらないタイプだったんだよね。
40度設定にしていても急に暑くなったりぬるくなったりさ。
Oh, that sounds very annoying.
そう。夏はまだいいけど冬とか本当に勘弁してほしいよね。あ、そうちゃんってシャワー派？それとも湯船派？
I like to soak in the tub. I usually take showers. How would I know which one is the right one? I don't know her preferences. What? I like to soak in the tub. It seems that's the one. Okay. Ichigo-san plops herself down next to me as she speaks.
祖父が夏でも湯船に浸かりたい人だったから私も。ああ、お年寄りってそういう人多いよね。
Ichigo-san nods knowingly.
うちのおばあちゃんもそうでさ、夏でもしっかり入らされたよ。一緒に50数えるまで出たらダメだって。
It's been a while since I've enjoyed idle chatter like this. Imagining little Ichigo and her grandmother makes me smile.
私、熱いお風呂が苦手だから50数えるまでって大変だったんだよ。うだっちゃってさ。リンゴなんかは平気な顔してたけどね。
Oh, yeah. It basically kind of like that. You like showers have a bad ending. Like, how does that make sense? I like really hot baths.
そうだ、おじいちゃんが湯船派って言っていたけど、そうちゃんも一緒に入っていくつ数えるまで出ちゃいけませんってなかった？
Yeah, I understand, Chidori. It's just we're just poking fun at the idea of like how would you figure, like, if you sat down to like try to make the choices from the perspective of the characters and go in the direction that you feel is the right one to go. What would you do for a choice like that? Because I'd be drawing a blank. I don't feel like there's any particular meaning or any sort of character development in that direction by choosing one of those. So it's just like, I don't know, flipping a coin. Yeah, okay. The more positive answer is generally the one. I consider the first one more positive here. Really? Why? Like, I am a bath person, don't get me wrong. I do also like baths, but I don't understand why the shower one would have been less positive. Showers are very efficient, by the way. Like, you get in, you get out, it's like not time-wise, I mean. They're more appropriate for like during the week, which is also what I do, but once a week I prefer to soak in a bath, and I do, and it's my, you know, time to kind of like relax and let the thoughts fade out of my mind and stuff, and not think of like, oh, I have to do XYZ thing. So I enjoy that very much, but I don't have anything against showers either, so I don't know. Anyway, it's just a silly thing. It was just, it cracked me up. So, question lifts the lid on my memories. At my granddad's house, my chores were to clean the bathroom and heat the water. In the early days, I naturally asked my granddad whether he wanted to take a bath with me, but... in one, she actually likes something, whereas the other is going with the motions. Okay, I see what you mean there. Alright.
お風呂は早い時期から別々だったの。
I mean, yeah, of course. Ichigo-san nods.
何気なく言った一言だったけれど、おじいちゃんすごく重命を作っていたわ。
Thinking about it, it wasn't actually that long ago I went to live with my grandfather. I developed early, so my body back then was pretty much the same as it is now. Yes, are you putting 2 and 2 together?
どうしたの、そうちゃん。ちょっと今更ながら昔の自分が考えなしだったなって。
Recalling my grandfather's face as he gently turned me down, I feel my own face flush hotly. Talking with Ichigo-san, I feel some of the tension within me melt away. The pressure in my temples starts to ease. And there it is again. It says, even though that girl abandoned you. Although I managed to stifle my cry, a noise still escapes my lips, causing Ichigo-san to pause in her washing and turn to me. Telling her it's nothing, I glare back at the shape of my stepmother in the mirror. She sneers at me, mocking me for walking right into her trap. I'm not purposefully ignoring her. It's just that we've both been taken in different directions with our council work, and we've been too busy to spend much time together. But you live in the same room. Surely you hang out at night a little bit before going to bed, no? Even accounting for council work, I feel like she's barely stepped foot in our room lately. Ah, okay. My friend's voice rescues me from the clutches of my stepmother, but she's still there and her next words roil the waters of my heart. Ah, what truth is this now? Her voice needles at a soft part of me I've tried to protect. But I have to believe that things are different now. Yeah. Trust in the people around you. My stepmother's words acted as a trigger. Whether in our room or in the classroom, I find myself following Rika-san out of the corner of my eye. Her presence is often missing from our room as she works on tasks unconnected to our council work. And while she's still a central figure in the classroom, I feel like she disappears with relative frequency. Neither of us is the kind of person who can give less than 100% to a task. Here, I absolutely feel you. Unfortunately, this means her work is now eating into the time she would previously have spent with me. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a little neglected. However, that's not what is really getting to me. At first, no one seems to think anything is amiss. She's looking down at her documents, seemingly engrossed in them, as she so often is. When she still doesn't respond, Tsuwabuki-san reaches out to touch her shoulder and snap her out of it. That's when it becomes obvious that she's focused on something other than the meeting. But now she's starting to do this? What is happening? Rika-san starts at the hand on her shoulder, then looks up at Tsuwabuki-san with unfocused eyes as though waking from a dream. Sometimes it takes only the slightest reaction to betray oneself. Rika-san's gasp and slight jerk make it obvious that she was miles away. She blinks and then bows her head apologetically to the rest of the council, who are taken aback by this uncharacteristic behavior of hers. Realizing that she's about to say something rude, Tsuwabuki-san swallows the rest of her words and lowers her gaze as the other members send her sharp looks. I pick up the thread for her. Oh, so sorry about that. Ah. Everyone smiles and nods, accepting my implication that it's not something we can blame her for. Looking relieved, Suwabuki-san also sends me a bashful smile.
会議も煮詰まってきたし、お茶にしましょう。紅茶をいただけるかしら。
She stands with a gracious smile. As I watch her head over to the tea set, I wonder what she could be brooding over. Could she be hiding something just like me?
部屋をたびたび開けるのと何か関係があるとか。
Watching her back, I desperately want to ask her what it is she feels she can't tell me and why. Yet at the same time, I know it's not fair for me to feel that way, considering how many secrets I'm holding inside myself. I heave a quiet but lengthy sigh.
よし、もうシンパはいないな。
What's happening? I'm staring at the scarlet rays of light, thoughts whirring through my brain, when I hear a sardonic voice behind me reminding me of a certain someone. A faint smile tugs at the corners of my lips.
よかった。退屈していたの。退屈してるとか最高の誘い文句だよ。私といるときは飽きさせるなんて滞在はさせないよ。
退屈が滞在か。確かに7つの滞在に入れてもいいくらいの罪深さだな。
I'm surprised to see Ichigo-san at the handles of Erika-san's wheelchair. They're an unusual combination. Recently, it's not been common to see my bookworm buddy hanging out with another member of the club, Ringo-san.
どうした？面白い顔になってるぞ。
エリカさんがイチゴさんと連れ立って図書室に来るなんて珍しいと思って。エリカとはさっき廊下で会ったんだ。私としては渡りに船って感じだけどね。
勝手に押されてきたんだが、私にも用があるってことはおすすめの書籍でも探しているとか？
私が部屋でおとなしく本を読んでる姿が想像できる？
だよな。
She holds her hands out placatingly and apologizes, to which Ichigo-san responds that she's creeping her out. I can't help but giggle at their amusing interactions.
私たちの話が受けたみたいですぜ、親方。
親方。
誰が親方だ？私もここへ来る用があったが、お前の要件ってのは何だよ？
Nodding conspiratorially, Ichigo-san casts her gaze around to check that we're alone. While the library has been fairly full recently, curfew is approaching. After making sure that the quiet library is empty save for us, she goes on.
渡りに船っていうのはさ、実は2人に相談したいことがあるんだよね。
She tells us.
相談？なんていうかさ、最近りっちゃんの様子が変じゃない？なんていうか疲れてるとも違うし、落ち込んでいるみたいな感じでさ。
ああ、そのことか。
Rubbing her jaw, Erika-san nods.
エリカも気づいてたんだ。もしかしてどうしてだか知ってる？
大方2回屋の貝絡みだとは思うが、細かいことまではな。白羽は知らないか？
Maybe it's to do with Suwabuki-san, maybe she's sick. I don't think she's sick. I would go for this, but... Yeah, that's the one. I suggest the first thing that comes to me.
もしかしてSuwabukiさんと。
Having heard that Suwabuki-san has a crush on Rika-san, it's an idea I voice before I really think about it.
へえ、まさか白羽がね。
Ichigo's little tongue poking out in the corner of her mouth mischievously.
恋愛話を切り出しますとはな。
The two of them stare at me, wearing matching smirks that tell me they're enjoying this. They're referring to me bringing up the mere mention of a romance. Usually I'd be overjoyed at being able to chat about such things with my friends, but not today.
なぜか嬉しくない。
In fact, it feels like a hand has reached down into my chest and is now clutching at my heart and making it difficult to breathe.
ツワブキは相変わらずモーションをかけているみたいだけどな。
りっちゃんは気づいてないし気にすることないよ。
Ichigo-san says, peering into my face. Her smile has been replaced by a look of concern. I thank her, though I'm still not entirely sure what for. I tell the two of them, both looking thoughtful, that I think she's probably sleep deprived.
やっぱり2回の貝絡みか。
ええ、新年度へ向けての準備が多くて、なかなか手が回らなくて。
でもそれまでまだ少しあるよね。
すぐに手配できることではないから、事前に準備をしなくちゃいけないの。だから夜遅くまで作業しているみたいで。
Ichigo-san frowns and holds her arms in a gesture that looks adorably grown up on her small frame.
そうか。協力できるやつならするんだけどな。
そう言ってもらえるだけで嬉しいわ。ね
え、そうちゃん。今一番大きなお仕事って何？
I explained the 3 major events to her. The school information session, the Bible presentation ceremony, and the orientation event to welcome new students.
オリエンテーション！
オリエンテーションがどうしたの？
さっきの説明だと、私たちが入学式の時に先輩たちから受けた学院案内だよね。それなら私的にもアイディアを出して協力できる気がする。
いちごさん。
She thumps her chest in a leave it to me gesture.
私的にもアイディアを出すけど、みんなからも意見を聞いてみるよ。こういう面白いことはみんなの意見も聞かなきゃね。
She's so excited about it. Before I can stop her, she's already rushed out of the library. Erika-san and I look at one another.
私は本当にいい友達を持ったわ。
Cute.
おう、なかなかうまい皮肉を言うようになったじゃないか。
本心です。
知ってるよ。
She meets my gaze, a feline smile curling across her lips. There's a softness to her features that isn't simply attributable to the warm red light of the setting sun.
エリカさんにも同じことを思っているわ。
名前呼び来やすいぞ。
Her cheeks are red and not just from the sunlight. I feel my heart clench in my chest. I've been through a lot since arriving here, but I'm genuinely glad that I enrolled at the academy. Erika's repeated whisper of "I know" only contributes to that feeling. From the way she turns away from me, scratching her head, I can tell she's trying to hide from me the deep, steadying breath she then draws.
なんていうかさ、こんな雰囲気の時に言うのは野暮天だとは思うんだが。お前に会いに来た要件っての伝えるよ。
Okay, what is it? Her cheeks are still flushed, giving her the appearance of a much younger, frailer girl as she opens her mouth. What is it? What is it? Why did they left us hanging? It's the morning of the Sabbath. Ugh. Some time has passed since I spoke with Erika-san in the library. After attending morning prayers and eating breakfast, I'm enjoying some much-needed relaxation when the door to our room swings open, causing Erika-san to jump in surprise.
今からオリエンテーションを始めます。
The twins announced loudly, taking Erika-san by the arms.
これってどういうこと？
If you don't know, allow me to explain. Ichigo-san sings songs in response to Rika-san's suspicious question.
歌舞伎の弁天小僧の名文句ね。
Suspicious question.
さすがはそうちゃん、博識ですね。これもゆずりは先輩の置いていった置き土産ですよ。
いや、私は部屋に押し入ってきて腕をつかまれている理由を知りたいのだけれど。
だからオリエンテーションだよ、りっちゃん。
なんで蛇口をひねったら水が出るのみたいな当たり前のことを聞いた風な顔をしないで。私はおかしくないでしょ。
Rika-san shakes off Ichigo-san's hands, her braids bristling. Ichigo-san folds her now free arms and regards her.
2回の会でのお仕事が大変だって聞いているよ。だから私たち的に何か手伝えないかって考えたんだ。
そう、それは嬉しいけれど。
Clearly not seeing that as much of an answer, she looks to me and Ringo-san for backup.
いちご姉と2人で相談し、2回の会の案件で手助けをできるだろうものを精査したのですよ。それがオリエンテーションなのです。
She sends a glance my way. Of course, there's a reason they haven't mentioned that I was the one who instigated all this. They want to maintain the surprise.
それってつまり、私を手伝ってくれるために骨を折ってくれたということなのね。
しかり。
She nods and delivers an old-timey affirmation. Then she goes on saying that they did some research about the orientation.
前に受けたことがあるから知っているけど、あれっていわゆる学院案内だよね。
まあざっくり言うなら早く学院に馴染んでもらえるようにする行事かしら。
なら聞く見るだけじゃなく早く馴染むようにやらせてみるのもいいんじゃないかな。です。
With that, the twins each take one of Rika's arms, sandwiching her between them, and flash big grins my way.
それではオリエンテーションのリハーサルに出発です。
Ay, ay, ay. The orientation rehearsal followed the same tour path we took as first-year students. Although I didn't actually participate in our original orientation back in spring, we exited the dormitory, then made our way toward the main school building. Ichigo-san keeping up a stream of narration about everything we passed, while Ringo-san pointed out the various flora and fauna living in the forest. We stepped through the tunnel of cherry trees and arrived in the school grounds, where they took us on a tour of the gazebo, the garden, the greenhouses, and the allotments. Then we returned to the front of the main building before heading inside. Tea time.
結局これが狙いだったの？
Rika-san asks as she pours cups of tea from the teapot set up in the cooking club room. Sorry. Teapot set up in the cooking club room. Okay. Drinking the tea she's already accepted, Ichigo-san shakes her head.
どちらかというと、これこそが私的に訴えたいことなんだよ。
She takes a bite of chocolate chip cookie before continuing.
今まで私たちがやっていたのは球体のオリエンテーションでしょ。学院の要所を説明する。
それが本文じゃない。
でも悩んでいたって聞いたよ。なら何か新しいアイディアを取り入れようと考えていたんでしょ。だからこれなんだよ。
Rika-san sets the last cup in front of her and settles into her own seat. She shoots me a questioning look.
いちごさんが言っていることは、今までのように要所を巡るだけでなく、触って学べるような場にしたらどうかということよね。しかりですよ。
The twins nod over their tea while Rika-san, finally cottoning on to their idea, murmurs that it sounds interesting.
つまりレッスン室に案内した際、実際にバレエを踊っているのを見物させて、どんな風に授業が行われているのか体験できるようにしようということね。
そういうこと。実際私たちも場所の把握はできたけれどさ、レッスンを受けるにあたっての詳しい説明なんてのは教えてもらってなかったでしょ。千鳥が踊っているのを見物させたら盛り上がるですよ。
I imagine Takasaki-san dancing in front of the brand new students. She'd immediately become their idol.
でも隣でエリカさんが睨みを聞かせているわよ。きっと。
A smile finally blossoms across her face, and the rest of us smile with her. We chat for a while about the orientation and other random topics. Rika-san and I haven't had many chances to talk recently. I'm reminded how fun and relaxing it is simply to chat with friends. That's nice. Eventually, after we've all had several refills, Rika-san half-jokingly tells us we're going to deplete the store of tea leaves.
これもオリエンテーションのリハーサルの一環だよ。
Ichigo-san puffs her chest out proudly.
どういうこと？これも見るより体験の一つに組み込めることだよ。調理室をただ案内するんじゃなくて。
You have a tea party.
私が紅茶を振る舞えってことね。それもいいかもしれないわ。
Rika-san smiles as she pours another round of tea, telling the twins she's impressed.
いろいろ他の人にも相談したけど、これもいちご姉と昔話をしたことから思いついたのですよ。
Ringo-san takes over from her.
以前、祖母の付き添いで病院に通っていた時期がありましてね。
あら、それは。
今は大化ないのですが、祖母が診察を受けている時に待合室でおじいさんがペットボトルの蓋を開けるのを苦戦していたのですよ。いちご姉はこう見えても人はいいですから、よかったら開けましょうかと手伝ったのです。
お年寄りに親切にする、素晴らしいことだわ。
ええ、話はここで終わらないのですよ。
Ringo-san continues.
おじいさんの代わりに蓋を開けて見送ったところで、シニア用の開けやすいペットボトルを作ったら売れそうじゃないと。
いちごさん。
何？その残念な人を見る表情。祖母に聞いたところ、お年寄りは皆開けづらい、もしくは開けられないと言っていたのです。だから
改良するべき箇所は大きなところでなく、小さな身近なところにあるということよね。
Ringo-san nods enthusiastically, concluding that it was this memory that prompted that realization. Hearing this, Rika-san strokes her braids, looking impressed.
小さなところから。私は新しい基軸を作ろうと考えていた。だからダメだったのね。
ダメではないわ。ただ物の見方は人それぞれで、佐々木さんたちはとても優しくて素敵な考え方ができるということだわ。
そうちゃん。エリカ先生が人たらしだと言っていましたが、本当ですね。
I stroke Ichigo-san's head as she hugs me tightly. Then I address my media partner who's watching us with a hint of jealousy in her eyes.
リッカさん、もう一箇所だけ付き合ってほしいの。
Okay. One more place. The darkness has a tawny luster like moonlight through a covering of cloud. Somewhere in the dimness, a buzzer sounds reverberating through the spacious room. What is happening? Okay. The sound is quickly replaced by a light, jaunty melody. Rika-san watches as the scene unfolds in a recreation of that summer's day. Ah! The Sasaki sisters dance lightly onto the stage to perform pas de caractère, le chat beauté et la chatte blanche, Ichigo. Just like last time, Ringo-san acts out her mime as the white cat. Rika-san's eyes crinkle as she watches the noble cat stroll across the stage, charming and elegant. As the music changes, Puss in Boots, Ichigo-san, hops lightly onto the stage to frolic in a playful dance with the white cat. Cute! Cat time. Yeah. The refined white cat and the wild Puss in Boots cavort and caper like the sisters they are. Their comical performance draws laughter. Cat, yes. Oh, sorry, I skipped a line. Their dancing is even better than before. Ringo-san comes in close to Ichigo-san as she leans into an arabesque penché. Ichigo-san supports Ringo-san in an attitude. They're startlingly in sync with each other. The audience of two, Rika-san and myself in the wing, is completely captivated. Then their frolicking dance draws to a close. Just like last time, the white cat cuts across the stage in a sauté and Puss in Boots chases after her until they both exit the stage. I did not expect cats. I was like, of all things, I wouldn't have thought of that, but that was cute. And yeah, we changed setting in, I guess, the scene, and I don't want to push it too far tonight because I'm already feeling the tiredness taking over me. So if it's alright, I'll just leave it here. It's I think it's perfect to end with the cuteness image of the cat Sasaki sisters. Yeah, I understand. It's just, I'm so tired. I feel like I'm glossing over the text as well. Is it alright to leave it for next time? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more after that anyway, so... Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Unfortunately, my brain woke me up at 5 AM this morning. Just randomly. There was nothing, like there was no sound or alarm going off or something. I just woke up and my brain was like, oh, we've slept 6 hours. We're doing fine. Let's now get activated and start our day. And I was like, no. But yeah, there was no chance for me falling back asleep. So basically, I've been up and about since 5 and I'm... Yeah. Sorry about that, but we'll continue next time. Okay. It's really nice to have the other characters a bit more involved because we've been focusing a lot on Suo and her investigations, and there was a little bit of Rika last time, but now it's all coming more together with like the whole group being around for certain things, and yeah, that's nice. That's fun. And the Sasakis are just they're incredible. I love them, and I love Ringo in particular. So that is nice. Yeah. Thank you for being here tonight. Not sure what else to say other than wish you a nice evening and a good sleep. And definitely I'm wishing that for myself because I really need it. So bye bye for now. Take care and see you Thursday again.